Hi, friends. Time for our weekly live. I'm actually really excited about this topic. A lot of times in advance, I'll write down and think about what do I want to share with you for the month. And so this one is something I've been digging into a little bit more, and it really has to do with learning and better understanding our brain, that neuroscience, which is so important when we think about weight loss and why we've been struggling in the past. How do we be successful? It's so important. So today, we're going to better understand how our brain seeks pleasure and avoids pain. And what does that have to do with your weight loss journey and maybe why you've struggled and how we can be successful in the future? So, first of all, when we think about this whole idea, it's really our lower brain that drives us. It's driving us to seek that pleasure and avoid the pain. And so, what we're really doing is understanding the mysteries behind that brain and how you can learn from it and start to apply some different things that will kind of change how your brain works. So first of all, just really understanding how our brain is motivated. Our brain is really complex, and it's really wired, honestly, for simple decision making. It's in the simple principle is avoid pain and seek pleasure. And so this really drives our survival instincts. And that's funny to say because we maybe don't feel like we're surviving, at least in the way we would have in ancient times. But in a lot of ways, we are surviving, right? Busy lives, busy kids, stress, health issues, work, whatever that is, it really can feel like we're surviving at times. So my goal today is to help you better understand it, to help start to guide some of your actions and then influence your choices. So the first one, let's dig into pleasure. I mean, who doesn't love pleasure, right? So when we think about it, our brain is hardwired to seek pleasure. And really what happens is that our brain releases chemicals called dopamine when we experience something enjoyable. And so we're enjoying a delicious meal. We get recognition from a friend. We're doing something fun, and our brain gives off this dopamine. And so what happens over time is that our brain and our body start to obviously get used to that dopamine. In all honesty, like that dopamine comes when we consume alcohol, when we do drugs, we have sex, like different things that we do in our life, we're getting that dopamine. And so it releases that positive trigger to our brain and it encourages us to continue to seek it out. So when you're getting that dopamine hit from food, your body's saying, oh, this is so good. I love this. This is great. For sure, in moments of stress or anger or sadness, when we're emotionally eating and we're trying to avoid those emotions and we're seeking food, we're getting that dopamine hit that helps us as well. And so our brain starts to get trained to do so. And it's really easy when we're giving into cravings or we're overly hungry and our brain is saying, absolutely. Not only is our brain, as we've mentioned in the past, trained to think that this could be our last meal. And so it's going to eat as much as it can because it doesn't know when it's going to eat again. And that's primitive, obviously. That's that lower brain. But now it's also trained to seek that dopamine hit that gives it that pleasure. So then let's do the flip side. Let's talk about pain avoidance. So on the flip side, our brain wants to avoid pain. It's going to go to all the lengths that it can to avoid pain. And so when we kind of think back to, again, our evolutionary past, that really means danger, right? So in the past, it would be like, I need to avoid danger. I need to increase my chances of survival. How do I move away from this? And so that's why we can think about why we a lot of times instinctively shy away from situations that might cause us some discomfort, whether it's physical or emotional, because it's, again, our brain's reaction to figuring out what does that survival look like. And so how does this impact our decision making, right? Like, okay, Nikki, great. I understand pain and pleasure, but what does this happen here? Well, it plays a significant role in our decision making. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you opt into the short term, like, I'm going to eat that brownie when I just told myself 2 hours ago that I was going to have a great day and I was going to only eat certain things? Well, because our brain is seeking that pleasure over the long-term benefits. And sometimes it's actually literally seeking pleasure over discomfort, because in that moment, well, it's going to be uncomfortable to not eat that brownie because I want it and I'm hungry and I'm this. So we're putting that pleasure first. And so our lower brain will then prioritize and kind of go for that immediate satisfaction that it can have with that dopamine hit versus, really the long-term goals that you maybe set out to have. And so it really becomes a balancing act. How do you seek pleasure and avoid pain? It's very natural for us, but we need to figure out how to strike that balance. So it can mean we have to learn how to be uncomfortable with short-term discomfort that can really lead to long-term benefits. Also, I recently was talking to a client and we were talking about how do you train your brain you're used to getting the short-term dopamine hit, right? When you grab the bag of popcorn and you do this. But what about the dopamine that's out there for you if you go through the day and you honor your plan? We call it a protocol in my program. What about what's out there for you if you, again, choose to honor that plan and you wake up from the weekend and you realize you didn't go out on a binge spree, or you just ate your planned treats, or your clothes are fitting better, or your weight is dropping. I mean, there's dopamine hits in there too, but it comes with some discomfort. But wouldn't it be better to have a little bit of that short-term discomfort for the long-term benefit, as well as just like the commitment that you've held to yourself and that belief in yourself that you've done? And so we have to start to think about that, slow down and do the work to think about it. And that's a lot of what I work with my clients on, is it's teaching you how to rewire your brain, how to slow down and not do what we might consider mindless eating or emotional eating, because it's always what we've done. You guys, we can change our brains. We have the power. Our brains don't control us. Understanding our brains and then coming up with obstacles and strategies during challenging times are ways that we can help support you, to in the moment be like, okay, I said I was going to do this. I'm going through the coaching with Nikki. Now it's time. What do I do when I go to that birthday party and there's cupcakes there? I love cupcakes. What are we going to do? And so again, it's working through understanding how our brain works, which is why I've been pulling the brain science into our conversations, as well as coming up with some ideas as you work through the challenges. So the next part is really, how do we overcome the challenges? And so we have to have the ability to override our instincts. We have to, as I mentioned, have the ability to slow down and stop and think about it a little bit and come up with ways and techniques to move through that. So it's going to be mindfulness. It's going to be self-awareness. It's going to be focusing on your goals and values that really align to your long-term inspirations about your health and your weight loss goals. It's also a shift in your mindset. So you are going to acknowledge, my brain has a tendency to do this. I have a history of doing this. But over time, with more informed choices and tools and techniques to help me work through this, I am letting go of these, and I can change these things. And you can. You guys, I can't tell you how many times I am so proud of myself for, I would have grabbed something out of the cupboard. I would have grabbed this, and I'm not even craving it. It's not, I can look at it like it was dirt, and I'm not even touching it. That's not something that happened overnight. That is something that has taken time to rewire my brain, to talk about what is the food that I want my body to feel and feed. Now, I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong. We had pizza on Saturday. That was my eat for the week, and I ate way too much. But I will tell you, I felt like crap, and it's going to stop me from doing it again. And so over time, I have trained myself to eat when I'm hungry, to stop when I'm full. And those are big things that have taken time. I had to rewire my brain, and I had to rewire my body to be, saying like, here's the way that I want to live now. And these changes are possible for you. So I hope that you found a couple things out of the video, the live today, that you're going to be able to implement. I'd love for you to post that you watch this in the replay. Just do a hashtag replay. Or if you're watching it live, comment below as you're watching it. We can interact and connect. But I want you to think about how some of the changes you can make and understanding your brain better will help you with your long-term goals. And, you're making intentional decisions that align with where you want to be with your well-being and your health. And let's really embrace the fact that you have the power to change your brain. You have the power to rewrite your thoughts and to create and make positive changes in your life. And I am here to do that and to help you. You just need to reach out and let me know how I can support you. If you missed my 16-week overview 16-week program 101 overview earlier this month, go back through the group and grab that live, learn a little bit more about the program that I have to offer. And I want to share, would love to go through that with you as a one-on-one. I'm also offering a discount to anybody who signs up before the end of the month. So it's over a 50% discount on that program, which is will be huge. And just think about it. If you could go into the store and pull off the shelf, right, like your dream come true weight and all the tools and resources we've been talking about, would you not do that and invest in yourself? Well, that's what I want to encourage you to do. I made that investment in myself almost 2 years ago, which is crazy to think that I started my program 2 years ago. And it's been transformational in my life in so many ways than just starting to lose the weight that I really honestly could not lose. I'm down, I want to say 25 pounds since I started the program. I still have a ways to go, and I'm still working on that. But more than anything, what I have embraced is that I have hope. I am not giving up on this journey to be healthier and to be at a healthier weight for myself. But what I have is that I know that I will reach my goal because I have the tools and the resources that I need to do it. I still get coached with my coach once a week. There's a group coaching time that I go to with my coach and the ladies that were in my program together. I'm actually going to Nashville the beginning of November to see a bunch of them as well. And so I'm just so excited to get to reconnect with those women that I went through the program with and that we're all still in the journey together, because it's a lifelong muscle that we're learning to build. And it's not easy. We know that. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I want to be that light for you and teach you how to do it yourself. So thanks again, as always, for joining the weekly lives. I try to make them as impactful as I can with short period of time, because I know you don't have a lot of time to give, and hopefully you can walk away with a couple of things that you can implement into your day to help you continue to build stronger habits towards your health and your weight loss journey. So thanks again, friends, for joining. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.